Meanwhile, in X-Men 97, Bastion confronts Val Cooper about releasing Magneto.
Tell me again, Valerie, why you decided to set Magneto free.
Because you've gone too far, Bastion. And I have one thing to say. I did it because Magneto looked right. I mean, Magneto was right.
You said right. Looked right, Val. You said looked right.
I mean, were you the one that decided to strip him completely naked in just that little Speedo?
I mean, I'm not going to say no.
I mean, it was just, I guess the magnetic powers, he was a little bulged. And, and I thought, if I did press the button that maybe I felt like we had a moment, okay? I felt like we had
Valerie,
a moment.
I did that to dehumanize him, all right? I wanted him to feel small.
Well, he looked more human than ever, okay? All right? Because it was, I was stigmatized. All right? Fine. I was stigmatized. Magneto was right. And I just wanted him to touch me, but then he just fucking flew away, that fucking piece of shit. Oh.
All right, just set her down, please.
Okay, can you take your clothes off? I'm really horny.
Yes.
Oh, it's all
wires, yeah,
wires.
Buttons.
It's not sexy.
Yeah, turn that key.
Okay. By the way, did you know I'm Mystique?
Oh, you are? I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I am.
You are? Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Because it's okay.
All right.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to episode... What? Welcome to episode 299 of Comic Book Queer's Legacy. I am your host, Brett, and laughing hysterically is EvilJeff. Hi.
That is the stupidest ending to one of our stupid
Stupid
I
ending.
love it. Okay,
I'm
hi.
Mystique.
Hello.
Are you Mystique? Is she Mystique? We don't know, but we'll talk about it.
It's not looking good at this point, but as we'll talk later when we talk about the X-Men 97 cartoon, apparently, Brett really gave me the business, and it turns out the business was wrong, and I was right. That's
right. But maybe there's some business on the horizon, and we'll talk about it.
Well, how are you doing, Brett?
Hey, I'm good. I the other night I got to see one of my favorite Broadway musicals, and that is The Wiz.
The Wiz. I saw that at the Pantages Theater here in Los Angeles before it made it to New York.
Well, I saw it at the Marquee Theater here in New York at the end of its national tour.
Did you see it with, I had a stand-in, the understudy for Dorothy.
I did too.
Oh.
I did too. And I did not realize because my playbill didn't have the insert, but my friends did, but we would see that later. So I didn't think there were any understudies. And I actually was really impressed with Dorothy, especially her voice. Girl can sing. And then later during intermission, we found out it was the understudy, and I was floored. You know what? I always say, you want the understudy in there.
Oh, because they have something to prove.
They want it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
They're hungry.
She just pushed the star down the steps so she could do this.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about The Wiz really quick. Were you a fan of The Wiz before?
The Wiz is one of my favorite musicals. The Wiz has got, I think, my favorite, just collection of songs.
I do love the songs from The Wiz, but the movie is very creepy.
Yeah, if you watched it now, you'd be like, it's amazing.
The musical or like the live. I think I would tell people to watch the musical live that happened
the
a couple
NBC
years
Live.
ago.
I loved that.
I think that's the best. But I will tell you, and someone that I used to do improv with, Amber Ruffin, rewrote this. I do feel like some of the updated jokes were a little too. It just was a little unnerving to me, and I think maybe it's just old fart me. I will say when I went to see it, there were buses of schools. Like when I went to see it, buses of like school children.
Nice.
So when we were there, these kids were like the most interactive. They were eating everything up. But then I was an old man being like, that's not what they did in the original.
That's modern bullshit.
But my main problem is because it was an understudy, I think she was one of the dancers regularly. And so in the dance numbers were all uneven and out of sync. And I think it's because she wasn't there. And so I was like,
She was likely the dance captain.
yeah. And so I was like, you guys need to be in sync by the time you get to Broadway. Were
5, 6, 7, 8.
Were the numbers?
They were. Yeah,
Okay,
they were.
That's good.
The dancing was fantastic. It was very in sync. And I sat in the balcony in the mezzanine so I could see if they were in sync or not. I could see.
And that's one of those musicals. When someone sings Home, you're going to cry.
Forget it. I cry at home. I cry at the Tin Man's second solo. What would I do if I could feel?
Wasn't the Tin Man like kind of really hot?
Oh my! Thank you. My number one takeaway of this production of The Wiz is the Tin Man is dead sexy. Intermission. I turned to my friends and I was like, Tin Man is dead sexy.
I did the same thing. No, I did the same thing. I turned to my friend Richardson and I was like, the Tin Man can get it. And behind me, these two girls were like, yep. And I was like, right?
Oh my God. So hot. He reminded me of like if Mos Def was the Tin Man. Like he had that drip. Like he was just so hot.
The one thing I will say though that was weird is I felt that the lion, when Titus Burgess did the lion, he made him gay and they kept that. But I felt the Scarecrow was gay too. And so it felt...
The Scarecrow was very gay in this production and very good too.
He was good, but I felt they were both the same kind of gay almost. And so
both very flamboyant, effeminate energy.
You can both be gay, but maybe one's sassier and one's more flamboyant.
Yeah.
It felt like almost the same character almost.
Yes. Like both eke a mouse gays.
Or is it just because it's like, I only need one gay person? That's gross. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, it's our self-loathing. That's why we think that.
Yeah.
So I got something even weirder for you. So you know who plays the Wiz is Wayne Brady.
Yes. Who's pansexual.
And that's correct. He has a line that sets up what is actually my favorite song from the show, the one I mentioned, What Would I Do If I Could Feel by the Tin Man. And the wizard sets it up by saying, yes, I'm Tin Man. I'm going to give you your heart. And then he walks away and Tin Man is like overcome with the fact that he's going to have feelings. Wayne Brady accidentally said, and yes, Tin Man, I'm going to get you your brain.
Oh, and then did he stop?
He just kept going. It was as if he said heart. He delivered one more line and then walked away. And you just felt the cringiest energy in the room because now the Tin Man had to take that and go into his heart song. I couldn't believe
so no one called it out. I feel like someone should have called it out.
Right, especially Mr. Improv.
Yeah, I know, Wayne Brady.
I was shocked that he let that flub hang there.
Since we're being gay and talking about Broadway, can I talk about the show that I'm really excited about that might be coming to Broadway soon?
Is it in Chicago right now?
It is.
Oh my God! Is it Death Becomes Her, the musical?
Death Becomes Her. I've seen a few.
How did I know?
I've seen a few clips of just like the curtain calls and stuff like that. But it has Megan Hilty as Madeline Ashton from Smash. Jennifer Simmert as Helen Sharp. But here's the big Michelle Williams as the girl Isabella Rossellini character.
I don't think you're ready.
People are
for that jelly.
The one person. People that I've watched some reviews. People are saying that she kills it. That
She's
Michelle
good.
Williams
Wasn't she the star of The Color Purple?
Michelle Williams?
At some point. I don't know. Maybe that was the Chicago production.
And that's the thing. Is I know Michelle Williams can sing. People always shit on her for being the extra.
Of course she can sing.
Girl, but she can fucking sing. But I've never known her to be an actress or a performer. So
I knew her from
such
Color
a
Purple.
Campy role of the I want to be left alone. Oh, I am kind of done. This musical. Oh, and all I'm saying is that I want them to make this musical a movie starring Anne Hathaway. How do you feel about that? I feel like she would rock it. I feel she would rock it.
Oh, she would rock it. Let me tell you something. I have not seen The Idea of You yet, but Anne Hathaway has never delivered a bad performance ever.
Is that the romantic comedy with her and the guy from Red,
with
White,
Nicholas Galzantine?
I watched a review where they did not like it because they said they didn't have any chemistry. Because he's gay.
And do you know who I just found out wrote and directed it?
Who?
Michael Showalter.
I love Michael Showalter.
Right? So all of a sudden I want to watch The Idea of You. I had no idea.
Have you seen what was that Sally Field movie that he did? Did you see that one? With
Michael Showalter?
Michael Showalter wrote and directed a movie with Schmidt from New Girl and Sally Field where she starts stalking him.
What was that? Yeah.
It's called...
I bet that's great too.
It is called Hello, My Name is Doris. It's from 2015 and it's great. Michael Showalter is amazing. He's great.
He's great.
Yeah. I also have another show I want to talk about, but I'll save it for
later when we talk about TV.
Yeah.
I don't know if we should call this. Should we hit some Hot Topics music?
Oh, okay. Yeah, hit the Hot Topics music.
Hit it.
We got some hot topics. Yeah. What hot topic do you have?
Well, one hot topic is that you and I are infallible. We're fallible. You and I are fallible, and we're prone to memory loss sometimes.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, is it? I mean, me more than you.
Yeah. In fact, the person who corrected us after something we said last episode called out the fact that he knows you only you only remember half of what's going on, but he expects more from me. And I was like, shit.
Oh wait, were you the one that messed up?
We both were.
Oh, okay.
Remember
what did we forget?
When we were like, have we ever done non-adamantium Wolverine? Have they ever done a Wolverine without adamantium?
And we were like, what was it?
I don't think so. Don't we? Oh God, how could we forget? How could we forget Fatal Attractions where Magneto pulled the adamantium out of Wolverine and then he became no-nose feral Wolverine? That whole thing.
When was that?
That was after... This is what led to Onslaught eventually.
Oh, I didn't read that.
Because
I didn't read it.
See? Okay, so then it was my fuck up.
Okay.
He pulled all of the adamantium out of Wolverine, and then Xavier mind wiped Magneto completely. And it was that moment Xavier mind wiped Magneto that Onslaught was created.
Oh, okay.
So,
here's the thing. For me, anything after the Phalanx Covenant, I was like, I'm not reading this anymore. It's terrible. Now that Chris Claremont left and Jim Lee left, it's terrible. So I stopped reading it. And then I did not pick back up until I met you guys. And then I started rereading it and I went back and caught up. And that was probably like 2006. But I went back
exactly when that
at
was.
like 2000 and was like Grant Morrison's Extreme X-Men. And I started reading all of that. I tried to go back and read stuff from like, what was that? Like 1995 to 2000. And it was just terrible. And I
want to call it like, were those the Scott Lobdell days?
Yeah. It's even, and this will people be surprised. I could not get through, what's the one, the Age of Apocalypse and all that stuff. But the one
are you not an Age of Apocalypse fan? Are you a non-fan, active non-fan,
I didn't like
hater?
I didn't like it.
That's wild.
Because that was the one where Legion killed Xavier, and then it turned.
He was trying to kill Magneto, and then he killed Xavier by accident. And then it turned
into Age of Apocalypse, and then all of the comics changed to Age of Apocalypse comics. I tried, and I didn't. I just wasn't a fan. I just wasn't a fan.
It was so cool that they all became different books.
That was cool. So it's really cool when you're reading the Wikipedia history of all of it, which I did do. But actually going through individually and trying to read the comics, I just couldn't do it.
Quiz me. Give me a normal X-Men book that was out at the time, and I'll give you its AOA equivalent.
Generation X?
That became... Oh, I don't remember, but M was like a robot, and Vincenti was in it. Wasn't it still called Generation X?
I thought it had another name too.
Yeah. Oh shit, I don't know that one. All right, this was a bad idea.
Uncanny X-Men. I'll give you easier ones.
Astonishing. Oh no, astonishing. No, it was Amazing X-Men.
I thought it was astonishing.
Was it astonishing? Oh no.
That person's going to write to us again.
I expect better from you.
What about X Factor?
That was Gambit in the Externals, I believe. No, yeah.
I thought X Factor. Oh yeah, no, okay. Was Cable one of them?
Yeah, that became X-Man.
Oh,
and that's when we were introduced to X-Man.
Okay, we're just gonna stop now before this. Our one fan is like, I'm fucking sick of you.
It was Generation Next. Was Generation X.
There you go.
And there was both an amazing and astonishing X-Men.
Oh, okay.
And Factor, I thought this was right. Yeah, Factor X replaced X Factor. Gambit and the Externals replaced X Force.
Okay. Anyway, so anything that happened in there, like Joseph, the Destiny Diaries.
Yeah, all of that.
All of that. I am.
Oh my God.
I just know the Wikipedia.
Operation Zero Tolerance.
Well, yeah. Well, when did Operation Zero Tolerance happen?
It was around that time. I mean, it was early. Yeah, it was like super early 2000s, right?
No, but the 2000. But then,
or like before
did
Morrison.
the Destiny Diaries happen in the 2000s?
Yeah.
But this is what garbage person I am. I was really into one of the things you hate the most. When Chris Claremont came back to Uncanny X-Men and wrote Dinosaur
I hated
Rachel.
that. I hated it. What was that called? What was that called? Counter Revolution?
When Psylocke came back from the dead.
What was that? Like Revolution X or something?
Yeah,
oh, God. Oh,
I kind of
hated that shit.
All right, whatever.
All right, let's stop. Like, we're butchering X-Men history right now because our brains are full of holes. Yeah, the hot topic was that we were wrong about X-Men stuff all the time. And then the other hot topic is Blood Hunt is happening in Marvel right now for you Marvel fans. And I understand you're not reading it, EvilJeff, because you are phobic around vampires.
I'm not phobic around vampires. I'm phobic around Marvel vampires.
Oh, right. You're phobic around gay men. I forgot.
No, it's just whenever Marvel does vampires, I could care less. I don't care about Blade. When the X-Men, when Matt Fraction had that whole run with Dracula, remember it was like Dracula and the vampires versus the X-Men when they were in San Francisco. And then Jubilee became a fucking vampire.
Yeah. Oh,
I hated it. Then Wolverine was fighting vampires in the Wolverine comic for a while. Hated it. And so then it was just like, oh, let's watch Scarlet Witch fight vampires. No. Is it like a global event where the vampires are taking over?
It's a global event, and what happens?
I also am done with these global events. I'm sick of it.
Yeah, it's global. It's a global event.
Okay.
What happens is it's pretty cool in the beginning. So every character that uses the Dark Force in one way, shape, or form, like Cloak or Dark Star or Blackout,
what about Grey Malkin?
Explode. No,
they explode.
He's just powerful in the dark. He doesn't wield the Dark Force. They explode into Dark Force. They become portals of Dark Force. And then the Dark Force is pouring out of them, pouring out of them, pouring out of them. And then everything's night all the time. And then all the vampires take over. And they fuck up the Avengers. Like they fuck that. There's this kind of like the, what are they called? The like Thanos' children, the black, with Ebony Maw and all them, whatever they're called.
I can't remember, but I know who you're talking about.
It's like, it's this elite, team of like second in command vampires. And they really take down the Avengers like hard. Like it's hard to watch. It's gory. There's also a gorier version of this book.
Is it Dracula and stuff? Is this connected at all?
Oh my God. So that's the twist.
Remember Exterminators had vampires?
I know. No, it's the twist.
Oh, okay. What's the twist?
They're like, it's Dracula, it's Dracula, it's Dracula. And someone all of a sudden it's like, it's not Dracula.
It's Count Chocula.
It's Count Chocula. It's not just Count Chocula. It's the Count also. It's the Count from Sesame Street as well, in cahoots with Count Chocula. It's Blade.
Wait, so Blade is a bad guy?
Blade's the villain. Blade is behind it all.
But aren't they setting up a whole Blade movie? Why would they make him the villain?
I have no idea, but he stabs Doctor Strange at the end of the book.
Well, okay.
Okay.
I don't care about Blade. Although this did remind me, do you remember the first movie is great. Do you remember the beginning, the epic first scene in the first Blade movie?
The blood rave?
where there's a huge rave and one guy's dancing and then suddenly it rains blood and it turns out everyone's a vampire except him and then they just eat him.
And there's a big sign that says bloodbath all of a sudden.
Yeah. I was just watching a TikTok of someone was like, me going to a rave in 2024. And then it just cut to like a Gen Xer like us going, and then vampires ate you. And that was the beginning of Blade. And it was like, I would never go to that. And I was like, yeah, that's me.
That scene is so iconic.
Yeah.
I mean, that really was the first good modern Marvel cinematic thing that happened. And I would listen to that song all the time. It was Crystal Method.
I loved Crystal Method.
I loved Crystal Method.
Or isn't it The Crystal Method?
The Crystal Method.
Yeah. All right. Should we talk about X-Men?
I guess you didn't know. Yeah. Yes, X-Men.
Music.
I was reading X-Men comics in a cocktail bar. That much is true. Yeah.
X-Men.
All right. We did the music. We're going to talk about
We did the
X-Men.
music. We're talking about Cable number 404.
Yeah, here's the slow descent into like this just ending. It's talk about going out with a whimper. I'm just
Do you know what I realized? Do you know what I realized what this book is for? This book was to keep Cable. This book was to keep Cable occupied because they didn't know what to do with him in the main stories. So they were like, this is too complicated if we have two Cables.
Let's have him deal with the Children of the Vault, and now let's have
Put him on a
deal
side
with
quest.
This other side quest.
Get him out of here. Because you had to do something. Because if people were like, where the fuck is Cable? Old Cable, young Cable, where the fuck is Cable? Oh, he's doing this side quest.
Yeah. And basically, it ends with, it turns out young Cable didn't really kill old Cable. He just kind of tried to put him out of commission.
He shot him in the robot part of his head.
And then it turns out one of the other people was a mutant shapeshifter in disguise.
Yeah, someone named Courier, who may be a character from earlier.
Now living as a woman instead of a man. So trans representation, let's work it.
That's cool. But like, why did she have to turn into a hot redhead? That's not Irene Merriweather, right?
I did hate the thing where it's like, oh, now I don't have to be this black woman anymore.
That was horrible.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
She was this like great black woman the entire story. And then she's like, okay, now I can get rid of this disguise and go to my true form. I'm like, why couldn't that have been your true form?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, is this a character we've met before? It must be. Otherwise, that's just horrible.
Yeah. And so basically, young Cable is like, actually, I'm going to let him try and form the, what is it? The necrocy? How do you say
the
it?
Neocracy.
Neocracy. I'm going to let him like try to form it. And I was just like, that's stupid. And I'm also at this point where, are we at the point? And then at one point, Cable's like, I don't want you to grow up to be me. And I'm like, do we live in a world where, does old Cable remember everything that happens as young Cable? Or no?
I do not understand Cable.
Because sometimes Cable, like the first time he was killed, he like knew it was happening because he's like, I remember doing it. And so then I'm just like, wait, is this now a different time stream? Are there now just different time stream Cables? I'm not 100% sure what's going on. I don't like the old and young Cable together. I don't like it. Basically, the Neocracy guy, they let him become powerful, and then he like goes up and asks everybody, like, do you want to join me? And everyone's like, no. And then he just like disappears. And I was like, this is so stupid.
This is so stupid. Like the way out of this story was like, let's just let the villain win and get what he wants to do. Okay. And then he's like, okay, everybody, I won. You wanna? And they're like, no. And he's like, wah. And he goes away.
And then it's the end, them going to help fight Orcus.
Yeah, and they're like, now you can find both Cables in Fall of the House of X number 5, where again, they lose because the premise of the sister book, Powers of 10, is that 10 years ago they lost, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I'm really excited for this. They need less books. And I know it's like, we live in a world now where it's like, no, we need 20 X-Men comics, and each X-Men comic has 20 covers, and each cover has 20 colors, and I want it to be simplified down so there's just like one kind of simpler story going on, because I feel they don't even know what the fuck they're doing right now.
They're just trying to get the fuck out.
And I don't know. I have nothing else to say about this one.
Well, let's then. Are we talking about Invincible Iron Man still?
Also,
we have Magneto.
we're on
Orcus.
The third fucking
They are just
issue.
busting this out.
The third
This
issue
book.
of him battling with the fine Iron Man stuff. And we have no fucking Emma Frost. Are you fucking kidding
But is this
me?
book weekly? This book is always coming out.
Yeah, and still nothing is happening. Basically,
Iron Man opens with Rhodey escaping.
yeah. Rhodey escapes, and then Magneto and Fei Long and Iron Man battle against Nimrod.
One thing I liked is that Rhodey escaped with Sandman and Living Laser, who's a gay man.
Uh-huh.
Free tickets to Challenger. Free tickets to Challengers, please. Am I right?
Have you seen Challengers yet?
Girl, should we talk about Challengers?
No, I
at the
haven't
end of
seen
this
it yet.
episode?
I'm seeing it today. So I haven't
Bitch.
seen it yet. I'm sorry.
You're seeing it today?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Bitch, can I tell you? I fucking love it.
Oh, everyone. I have not heard a single person
It's so
said they
good.
don't like it. No, it looks great.
It's so good. You know why?
Why?
Here's why.
Because
the way it played, the movie's relationship to one of your favorite concepts, stakes, is incredible.
there's actual stakes.
The way that
and it's played by the
that's-
relationships between all the three characters.
the way that stakes are navigated and shaped and delivered and structured, it's so good.
You know what the craziest thing is you know who wrote it?
Who?
The husband of Song, the girl who did Past Lives.
Really?
Like the Jewish guy in Past
Celine
Lives that
Song?
she's with. Yeah. That character is who wrote Challengers.
Wait, I'm dying because I saw a 3 tickets to Challengers Please meme with Greta Lee and the husband.
Yeah, that's why. That's why. Because he's like, I'm the character that wrote this.
Oh my God.
Talk about a power couple.
Yeah. I don't ever want to hang out with them.
Yeah, talk about just being like, well, I'm a fucking loser.
They'd be like, you're talentless. I'm like, I do a podcast.
Basically, nothing interesting really happens in this. They kill Nimrod, because not only this, they kill Nimrod, and he's like, haha, I'm uploaded somewhere else. And I'm
Classic Ultron.
like, okay. So that was pointless.
The Mysterium stuff is weird. Again, remember where Mysterium came from? It's a medal from the White Hot Room.
Yeah.
So that's weird. But also, after it kills Nimrod, it dies.
Yeah, that seemed made up.
It's all made up.
That just seemed like, oh, okay. I'm like, whatever.
So basically, that was just an explanation for why Magneto couldn't take it with him into the next fight.
Yeah. And so then he knocks out Fei Long, and then that's the end of
He
that.
punches him out.
For me, I'm just like, just fucking get back to Emma. Like, get back to where
just
you break up.
get back to your relationship
so
with
I can
Emma.
be fucking depressed that you fucking break up.
Just manipulate his memories already so he doesn't remember.
Joe was
Now
asking me
that's
last
an annulment.
night. Joe was asking me, he's like, do you feel that Emma should be with Scott? And I was like, listen, Emma is too good for Scott. At this
Hell yeah.
point. I don't feel they
She should
shouldn't
if
be
she
together
wants to.
because Scott should be with Jean. I think Scott is fucking basic. And so she needs someone that can handle her, like Tony Stark or Kitty Pryde.
Hey now. And we're getting that book.
Well, they're already
Emma
starting
and
to set
Kitty
it up.
moving in together and raising children.
Should we start with X-Men 34? Because that's kind of segueing into that.
Yeah, in fact, like that. So if you're talking about the Kitty moment in X-Men 34,
That's
I have
setting
to
up
say,
her comic, right?
Yeah, but also it was a powerful moment for me. I thought it was a good kind of ending of that arc. Anyway.
Of her not being a crazy killer?
Yeah, it was a good moment. I like that moment.
Yeah, so now we're on to X-Men. And
X-Men 34.
Xavier's gone off the deep end. MODOK, basically, apparently all the Orca soldiers, he had like an implant that turns them into monsters. And he's like, oh, this is going sideways. I'm going to let all of them turn into monsters and just attack everybody.
But also, like, MODOK resigned from Orcus. They had a big data page.
Yeah.
Where, and now MODOK's back. I'm like, ugh. They don't know what they're doing.
Also, the whole thing where it was like, oh, and let them kill all the humans. Let these monsters kill all the humans. So then it was kind of like, I thought the whole thing was like, oh, so now let's just do what we can to turn the humans back against Orcus. I don't know. These things, a lot of these things don't fully make any sense. And then there was like a lot of weird jokes. With
tonally, it's just like
Firestar, hey, Ms. Marvel, and Wolverine, girl Wolverine, are like battling these monsters, and they're just like doing all these quips, like, "Oh my god, what else can go wrong?" Well, I think being an X-Men would have taught you not to ask that question. I don't know. I'm just like not.
And I'm like, I don't know. How about the genocide of your entire species, which you still think is a thing?
Yeah.
Anyway, Kitty, she's fighting. This is just them fighting monsters. It's just them killing more time, essentially.
She frees Caliban, which, if we remember,
which is nuts.
Was Caliban the one that kidnapped her to marry her?
Yeah, so these two have a history.
So they have a weird history from when she was 13. But basically, he's like, I don't want to murder anyone, and she's like, well, then it sounds like you're on the other side, bitch. And
he's like, how the tides have turned since our wedding. You're the monster.
Yeah, and
he should have said that.
And in between these two scenes, they end up killing MODOK. So that happened. Which
Sync uses Polaris's power in tandem with his rest of the team. What's this spider thing biting him?
I think those are the nanobites that are like repairing his body.
Oh, okay.
Because he's like, I can self-repair.
Gotcha. Yes. Yes.
But basically, Caliban is like, I'm out of here. And she's like, you're a fucking coward, you piece of shit. And Wolverine's like, hey, don't worry. I'll fucking kill Xavier because we need to kill him.
And she's like, because I can't anymore. I can't with the killing. I can't with the ninja. And why are they in front of Bar Ogan? That's so funny.
Yeah. And basically, she's like, if we survive this, I'm going to leave the X-Men and just like be a normal person. Like, that's ever going to be possible, bitch. Like, you were turned into a ninja at the age of like 15.
Right.
You've tried to go to college. Like, you tried to you were in Excalibur. You thought everyone in Excalibur were lost in another dimension. And you were with Courtney Thorne Smith. What's her name? Saturnine.
In Melrose, yeah.
What's her
Courtney Ross.
Courtney Ross. You're like tried to be have a normal 16th birthday. Turns out Courtney Ross was Saturnine and was actually using you. You tried to have a normal college life.
Bitch, you've been on TV. Like, you've been on TV as the X-Men.
Yeah.
Like, as Catherine Pride of the X-Men.
You've already tried
with no
all
mask.
this shit. Yeah. It's too late for you. This is your life, bitch. Deal with it. But Kitty Pryde and Kitty Pryde and Wolverine are going to go kill Xavier. And I feel the idea of Kitty with Wolverine standing behind and Xavier having to like basically confront Kitty of all people, like why what he's doing is right, that's not going to go well. I think Kitty's going to go there to kill him, but I think in the end she's going to outbrain him.
Do you think she's going?
Do you think she's not going?
That was my take.
Oh, her take that she wasn't even coming with him?
Right.
No. Oh, you're probably right. So it's just Wolverine? Oh, that's
It's just
boring.
Wolverine because he
I want
says,
Kitty.
whatever you need, stand down.
Oh, but I thought she was saying when this is all over. So I thought it meant like
Yeah.
after we do this.
I think when she, because I could see that. I think when she said, if we win, meaning the bigger, broader
Oh, well, that's dumb.
war.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
my idea was better. Well, fuck this.
I agree. But it's he's like, okay, just you rest. I got this.
All right. So it'll
And
be
he's like-
Wolverine versus Xavier.
But I mean, we already know that Xavier's going to be locked up in the mansion.
Yeah. The thing we don't know is Moira's fate. That's the real big mystery.
What if she becomes Moira Rose from Schitt's Creek?
I can't even. I'm just going to take my lives and fold them in.
It's some kind of science library. All right, let's talk about the X-Men cartoon and other TV, if we so desire.
Hit the music. This cartoon is not for kids anymore. It is very violent. Like it is.
It's adult
Wolverine
themes.
is
It's
chopping
violent.
up people. Like we are seeing in this episode, because we saw how Trask was like a hidden sentinel. All of the other hidden sentinels start showing up, and it's like these were people. These are humans, and Wolverine is just ripping them apart. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, not just Wolverine. He had a
Everybody.
partner
Yeah,
in my
Nightcrawler.
favorite scene of this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think what I loved before all that action happened was we had real 15 solid minutes of slow burn character building. And a lot of it was villain origin exposition, but
Yeah.
it really did just take it easy until the insanity launched when so many people wound up becoming Prime Sentinels.
Yeah. And this also had a really good twist with Trish Tilby being one of them. I love that.
That was incredible because we did get they are building a relationship between Beast and Trish Tilby, and us comic fans are like, yay.
Nope.
But then to just be like, just kidding. This show really has subverted the expectations of X-Men fandom to a very masterful degree. I'll talk about Val Cooper also later and how potentially we're doing that with Val Cooper.
If
I'll
that
say it
is
now.
Val Cooper.
We are all expecting Val Cooper to be Mystique. This is an X-Men show. Somebody's Mystique, and it's probably Val Cooper. But what if? No, there is no Mystique, and that's actually the character of Val Cooper.
Well, it makes more
wouldn't
sense
that be
because it's not surprising for a Mystique disguised as Val Cooper to say Magneto was right. It's more interesting for it to really be Val Cooper.
Yes.
And saying Magneto was
Now,
right.
how great would it be if somebody is Mystique, but it is somebody we completely do not expect?
Morph. No, just
Right? Right. What? I swear to fucking God. Can you imagine if they do a Mystique fake out and it's like Morph?
Also,
That would be amazing.
I am so stupid. Everything happens so fast where I'm like, where did Juggernaut come from? And Joe is
yeah, a lot
like,
of
it's
people.
Morph. And I'm like, oh, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So stupid.
But what? So let's walk through what we pick up. Where do we pick up? Well, there's basically three storylines happening, three fronts. We've got Jean, Scott, and Cable. We've got Back at the Mansion with Rogue,
And then Bastion.
and we've got, and then Jubilee and Roberto was where I was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you also have the villains.
And then the villains, kind of threading. Yeah, but you also have their scenes. But the Jean Scott stuff is interesting because you've got Jean actually talking to Nightcrawler first. And Nightcrawler, who is quickly helping us heal our Gambit wounds by being the best character ever.
Yeah.
Says to Jean, listen, Jean's talking about how she has Madeline's memories. So this is very post-Inferno, where Jean remembers everything Madeline felt and did. And
that's the thing, is I didn't think that was true. I thought she only had them up to a bit of a point. I don't think she remembered having the baby, but she does.
She does.
Which
That's
is
wild.
fucked up that Cable is still like, you're not her, bitch. But she remembers having the baby and has to kind of like hold back. That's really fucked. That must fuck with your head.
She's holding back because she says to Kurt, you know, he's Madeline's blood. And then Kurt gives the whole like blood is blood, family is a choice.
Yeah. Also, technically, you have the same blood.
And if I was in that crawl, I would have been like, where do you think she got her blood from, bitch?
You're a fucking clone,
you
dummy.
Stupid bitch. But yeah, no, it's a very sweet moment. The family is a choice idea, then really kind of informing the spirit of the Cable Gene Scott story, where they're kind of they're choosing to be this family that's admittedly on the run from killer robots together, but a family nonetheless.
And those three go off. And there's a great ode to the X-Men movie.
Yes, when Cyclops hands Cable a uniform.
And he's like, what does he say? Like, what were you expecting? Black leather?
Yeah, because remember in the original X-Men?
He's like, what were you expecting? Yellow spandex?
Yellow spandex, and it was Cyclops.
Oh God. So
that's great. But so then, you know, their storyline is to investigate Bastion's background. And I kind of like how this show modified Bastion's origin for the show.
He was, well, I think trying to incorporate the Siege Perilous and Master Mode and all of those things was just too complicated. And if I remember, in the beginning, when Nimrod first showed up in the Mark Silvestri era, he did turn back and forth between that dude.
Yeah, yeah.
And so in this, that dude got married and had a baby, and Bastion is that half Sentinel baby, which I'm like, oh, that's such a... He makes the fucked up, convoluted stories better.
I know. And also the mother and father of Bastion, like they're from the original run of the show. They're in particular episodes. So he really like the Nimrod infecting the father and then the Master Mold having the thing with the mother came from the 90s show.
Yeah. So they kind of they're starting to see the origin of him, realizing that he's a kid, but he's also just in great. It reminded me a lot of Omega Sentinel, where it's like you're human, but as you get older,
you're getting taken over more and more.
Sentinel starts taking over. So it's using that. But then unfortunately, Beast is like, I'm taking Trask and I'm going to try and use this little chip and figure out, hey, where are there any more of these sleeper sentinels?
And you know what's coming eventually.
I know. Well,
it's like that scene from Aliens.
When he does it, they pop up. They're fucking everywhere. They're fucking everywhere. And they're also right next to him. Trish Tilby's like, hey, bitch, I'm one of them too, bitch. And I feel bad because Beast, kind of him connecting it is what caused, it seemed like, all of them to activate.
Kind of,
so in a way, Beast...
that's coincidence.
Beast kind of fucked up.
A little Icarus moment.
Anyway, so Trish is now a Sentinel. Also, the mom of Bastion... he made her a sleeper sentinel, which is really fucked up.
Really fucked up. I'm confused on like the passage of time though. Like, why is Bastion an adult? You know, like if they're from like previous seasons, like why is Bastion so old? Why is she so old? I don't care.
Well,
I don't care.
But
shut up,
did
brain.
He, in the original X-Men comic, did he become Nimrod in that? Or was he already Nimrod?
There's no human aspect to Bastion in the comic. He's
no. I'm talking about the dad.
Nimrod,
you're saying the dad. Did they show him becoming Nimrod? Because couldn't all of that happen?
They show Nimrod crawling into his ear, like Nimrod as a liquid form. I guess after his defeat.
Saying if that happened.
No, I'm saying like why is like this shit all happened in the 90s. Like why is that woman old now?
Yeah. Okay.
It's like 5 years later.
You're right. But let's,
Sure. I shouldn't have brought it up.
We'll just have to look over that because that is definitely a flaw. And now I'm not going to watch the rest of the show because of that. Thanks, you ruined it.
So sorry.
I'm kidding.
One thing that's interesting about that scene where they're learning Bastion's origin is Jean is using good old telemetry.
Yeah, I need
like
them.
Longshot used to do.
They need to address Jean's.
She's used it in the comics.
But
they will.
But Jean would use her powers and be like, "Ah!" Jean is fucking floating cars, throwing buildings into the ocean. I want them to address. She's crazy. She is now one of the most powerful X-Men on this team, where before she couldn't lift a carrot without like falling over and like, and needing to like lay down on the couch and have a nap.
How about when they were escaping the Sentinels and they drove out the side of the mountain, and then she, in a force bubble, levitated them all, blew back, protected them from an explosion, and then protected them from all of the Prime Sentinel fire.
She's insane. And I'm not saying like she can't do this, but Jean from the old comics could not do this. And I want them to just be like, what's going on with you? And her being like, oh, well, since, I don't know. Since
Madeline or after the Phoenix.
I want something to also the idea
Sinister.
of like, or also after her being like, fuck you, Scott.
Yeah, there it is.
And that's what's giving her power. I don't need no man. I was actually holding back because I was trying to be the good girlfriend. And now I realize I don't fucking need you, bitch.
No, but we're doing family time.
Still fuck me though, but I still need to fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. The Phoenix has needs. So then we have Roberto. Is this where Roberto comes out? No, that was last week where he came out to the mom.
This one, but then she's like basically like, you need to hide this. We need to keep it a secret. All of this stuff. And then Jubilee's like, fuck you. Let's go shopping.
Yeah. And then she gets attacked at a mall again. And she's like, I'm so done with malls.
done with malls. That's such a great line too. It's so fucking funny.
It was so funny. And then we get to see Sunspot in his full form.
And he finally now is using his full powers. He is flying, which is not his powers in the comic, but it doesn't matter.
Oh, sure it is.
It is? He can fly in the comics?
Yes, he can. That was like oh no, I'm thinking of Warpath. No, Sunspot can fly, but there was a time where Warpath could fly too.
Yeah. I always thought Warpath was just super jumping and then gliding.
Huh. No, like in that Adam Polina run with the purple and orange.
No, you're
with the
right.
shaved head.
But I also I remember being like, huh? But I don't think he can fly in the comics.
Sunspot can. He can.
When did he fly in the comics?
A bunch of times.
I'm looking it up right now.
Sunspot can fly.
Oh, okay. You're right. It says here he can blast his powers and
blast his heat
by propulsion. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Just like his boyfriend,
who's nigh invulnerable when blasting.
Yep. So Sunspot and Jubilee, they get they almost get taken away
because apparently the butler or whatever is a sleeper. Is a sleeper sentinel. They're being chased around. That's right. They end up flying back to the mom's party.
And
of
all
of
things.
The sentinels are like, "Oh, we're trying to save all of you." And then she's like, arrest them, take them away. And they get arrested. And she lets them take her son away. Fucked up.
She's a fucking
bitch.
And then, I think to me, like, yes, the Sentinel fight with Scott, Jean, and Cable was so cool. But the Sentinel fight back at the mansion when Beast is taken out, Morph is taken out, and it's just Kurt and Logan protecting Rogue's comatose body.
With Kurt having two swords and a third sword on his fucking tail.
And how great was that wordplay when Wolverine is like, I got 6 reasons why not, lady. And then Kurt goes, 9. No, my friend, 9. That was good. And that was that's like an X-fan's fucking orgasm. Like to see Wolverine and Kurt like in a fight scene that beautifully choreographed where they do something we've never seen before.
Seeing the inside of the teleport was one of the most amazing things in this whole run of this show.
And like the fight was so insane. It's like, how can they possibly heighten what they're doing? That's how they'll take you inside a BAMF. Incredible.
And Kurt is just so seamlessly on that team. Like, I just love it. Is the history of him, was he ever on the X-Men before?
I don't know. I have to watch that episode of his again.
Because I'm curious of like, was he originally an X-Men and then he just isn't and now off doing his own thing? Or he was a former X-Men? Or is this
I forget.
Because he's just so...
Well, you know what? Jean and him are like meeting for the first time. Like,
oh yeah. So maybe not.
She's like, and he's like, call me Kurt, call me Jean kind of thing.
But I need some fucking, I really need some fucking, Storm to fucking come to this shit. It's taking her too long.
Well,
to get
she's been beckoned. Yeah, I know. Like, wasn't she on her way?
Yeah, I'm like, what is taking you so long, bitch? You can fly. You can fly again. She was like, oh my God, no, everyone in Genosha has been murdered. I have to go. Let me get some of this. Let me get some forge.
Do you feel like Ty?
Can you dick me down for just like a couple of hours and then I'll head out?
Couple days?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Xavier lands right on cue.
Lands and he's like, "Am I too late?"
Classic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
bitch.
You are again.
Yeah,
eternally too late, my friend. Oh, but we forgot about the whole Val speech.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
How about, so it turns out Val, while she was staring at a captive Magneto who was wearing nothing but a black Speedo and a tight body.
Yeah.
She lets him loose and she's caught by Sinister. She explains to Bastion why. And she had just had it. She just had it with the oppressed being horribly murdered.
Yeah. And I think in the end, it was like, you're always going to just genocide them. He was right. Everything he did was right because you just wanted to genocide them. Once again, with everything going on in the world, wow. Yeah, it's just crazy. And then Magneto is like, I'm fucking done with this. And this is one thing where they are like, he goes to the North Pole and basically shoots a huge magnetic shockwave and basically an EMP and just depowers everything.
So that means airplanes.
That's what I was about to talk about.
Sky.
Can we talk about that? Means every airplane just fell out of the sky and everyone in them were dead. So at any given time,
surgical equipment failing.
Yeah. So that means everyone on life support is now dead. Everyone in the middle of a surgery dead. Everyone in a plane dead.
Most people in a car
or a helicopter or in an elevator. That incident that he did probably killed 100,000 people.
Oh my goodness. More.
Yeah. So, and I know they're just not going to address that. Like, oh, he saved everybody. I'm like, he just murdered a shit ton of humans and mutants probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also, but he had to stop the Sentinels. So
that's true. He saved a lot of people too.
But then wouldn't that include Bastion?
I don't know.
So I'm curious of like what happened to Bastion when Magneto did that.
Yeah, me too.
But we also got to see Spider-Man.
We did, and Dr. Doom and Baron Zemo.
Yes. Dr. Doom is part of it.
Yeah, part of it. And that's the Dr. Doom from the 90s Fantastic Four cartoon. And that's the Spider-Man from the 90s Spider-Man cartoon.
Yes, and as Baron Nemo...
This is all in universe.
And Baron Nemo, was he ever... No, Baron Zemo. Is he in any of the X-Men before?
Not sure.
But this is the same... He's the guy that ended up doing the Thunderbolts, right?
Thunderbolts, yeah. Yeah, but I love that right now. I think what this episode did was lay down that there is a 90s cartoon universe of the multiverse.
Yes.
Fuck yeah. Oh my God. Huge.
Huge.
Huge news.
Huge.
Huge
They
news.
say in New
Xavier.
York, huge.
Ugh. Xavier lands and he's like, he's like, am I late? And then he calls his fellow X-Men. And I will say we're going to have a full circle moment. The creator, Bo DeMeo, he typically is posting books. He suggests you reread before an episode. And he suggested Fatal Attractions, which is the story where Magneto pulls the adamantium out of Wolverine.
Shit.
And where Onslaught's created because Xavier mind wipes Magneto.
This is I predicted
Full circle, bitch.
I predicted this was going to lead to Onslaught. And I think that is what's happening.
Fuck.
What I also really want is that leading to, I almost want, if Onslaught happens, and that means the X-Men are kind of put out of commission, I think starting next season, it's going to open, just picture this, starting next season, it opens with a school for gifted mutants. It's Emma Frost's fucking
It's Emma's school.
And who is her one student? Kitty fucking Pryde. Let's fucking do it.
So let's address it. So we saw some more comments from Bo DeMeo on Twitter after, of course, as fandom does, Emma fandom attacked him online. How dare you get rid of her so quickly?
And he admitted that, she's not showing up for the rest of this season. He just said this season. So
yeah. And he said, yeah, no more Emma. I'm focusing on the core team. And then he followed up with, and I'm talking about just this season. He also said that he didn't throw Emma away. He set her up on the path to become the Emma we quote all know and love.
Yes.
So I do think she will play, a pretty cool role. And that sounds.
Were you the one that sent me? Wait, were you the one that sent me the thing of the difference between Magneto, Emma, Xavier, and Xavier? Where Xavier, Xavier is like, no, let's all live in peace. Magneto is like, no, let's dominate. And Emma is like, I'm just going to be better than everybody.
Well, it's like the way he put it was like, Xavier is like how you change a world that hates and fears you. Magneto is how you survive in a world that hates and fears you. And Emma's is how you thrive in a world that will always hate you.
Yeah.
And he also said like Xavier's an idealist, Magneto is like a pragmatist, and Emma's a realist.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would love that. I mean, we definitely are going to, he moved Emma away from the self-serving villain she was in X-Men, the 90s cartoon.
They're setting her up where she's going to be the children. And I need Kitty.
Yes.
Kitty Pryde. We need Kitty. For me, Kitty Pryde is a core X-Men character. And because she was in Excalibur when the X-Men cartoon first started, they replaced her with Jubilee. Bleh. And I think we need to right the wrong and have Kitty Pryde show up.
I agree. Ooh, I can't wait. I'm so excited about this show.
I know, but there's only 2 more episodes.
They're going to be so good. And then I think the second season should follow pretty quickly.
Yeah. Hopefully.
And we'll have the movie, Deadpool 3, Deadpool and Wolverine.
Which I think is going to be slowly setting up. And I think because of the Marvel world, I think people are... There's no way that Feige's not seeing the excitement of X-Men and the downplay of how nothing else is really playing. No one's really giving a shit about anything Marvel except X-Men. The X-Men is the future of the MCU. And so they need to not fuck it up.
Seriously.
But
at least we have this show. At least we have this show.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. All right.
I want to just real quick. I don't know if you watched it, so I don't know if I can really talk about it.
Ooh.
But a new show, one of my favorite shows in this past decade, premiered on Thursday. A little show called Hacks.
Oh, season 3?
Have you watched it?
Oh my God, no.
Oh, okay. Well, you have to watch it. It's back, and it's just as amazing as ever, and I fucking love it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Gene Smart and Hannah
Einbinder
have the best chemistry. They have The best chemistry. It's so good. I fucking love it.
Oh my God, I'm so happy it's back.
And Jean Smart is making the junket rounds, and she is not disappointing. She was on Kelly Clarkson with the guy from that Anne Hathaway thing and Red, White, and Royal Blue, and she's just like, oh, good thing you can act because, you're so unattractive. Like,
and Kelly Clarkson was like, I understand you're moving. I love moving. Tell me about it. And she just looks at her and she goes, you love moving?
I know. I love Jean Smart. Ugh.
I love that. So Hacks, we have another new show, maybe one steeped in like drag parody of our favorite movies.
Oh, yes. On May 15th on Wow Presents Plus, you can watch Drag Me to the Movies, a little show that I did doing where drag queens parody your favorite classic movies.
What out of all of them is your favorite one, the way it turned out?
It's really hard to say because I feel the Scream parody called Yelling Loudly really hits home for me. But also in the end, the Star is Born parody starring Ginger Minj and Jujubee called A Star is Spawned, in which Lady Gaga's character is the Antichrist. That one turned out really fun too.
Love it. I love Jujubee and Ginger Minj.
But you also finished a show, didn't you?
I did. I finished Fallout based on one of my favorite video games.
And how
8 episodes.
Did it kind of feel insular, or are they setting up for a big second season?
They set up for a big second season in a way that actually I stood up and I was like, yay! And I'll get to that in a bit. But overall, I thought the show was really successful in bringing a video game to life, in that it still managed to deliver like a pretty captivating, very cool story, had a lot of plot twists, but also delivered like the visual and even the gameplay authenticity of the game. So the way they worked the game story in, the way they worked the gameplay in, a lot of the action scenes felt like the video game. And yeah, but still delivered a great story, where at the end, a lot of reveals. If you haven't watched it yet, I'll spoil.
I'm not going to.
But it turned
it's fine.
Okay. But it stars Ella Purnell, who was Jackie in Yellow Jackets, the one who froze to death.
Yes.
My favorite. And her father is Kyle MacLachlan, and he was the overseer of Vault 33, where they lived in this kind of utopian society.
Now, when you said she didn't like the bad guys like kill everyone in that vault, did everybody
killed a lot of people,
but not everybody died.
They killed a lot of people, and they kidnapped the overseer. They kidnapped Kyle MacLachlan.
Oh, okay.
What she then went outside to go bring him back. In the meantime, the Vault went on living and elected Leslie Uggams as the new overseer. And then it turns out there was a lot of political intrigue behind Leslie Uggams and where she's from, and like all these reveals came out. It ends with the reveal that Kyle MacLachlan is actually the villain of the show, and he was responsible for sort of everything happening. So they fight, he escapes, and at the very end, he happens upon New Vegas, which is a Fallout game, Fallout New Vegas. It came out after Fallout 4. So Fallout New Vegas will be the backdrop of season 2.
And the main character, that's her dad?
It's her dad.
And so she doesn't know.
She found out her dad was evil.
She knows. Yeah. She now knows he's
She
evil.
finds out at the end. Yeah, she confronts him.
Oh, shit.
The woman who you think is the villain turns out is good. And Kyle MacLachlan's
Did you know
evil.
this the whole time since you played the video game? Oh, okay.
No. The story is wholly original, which is great. It like borrows... Actually, the only thing it really borrows from the story of the game is...
The premise?
The fact that like... Well, the premise, but also that there's these different factions in the game. And Fallout 4, like the big thing is which faction do you join? And then the gameplay is different accordingly. So they had story based in these different factions kind of being at each other's throats. But from there, it was all wholly original.
Right.
And Walton Goggins as the ghoul, as like the kind of face of the show. It's fucking incredible. He's so good. He's so good.
And then now you'll have to wait 10 years for season 2. No, hopefully it'll
That's
come
right.
soon.
Come soon. I hope so. But yeah, Fallout, highly recommend, especially if you played the game. And especially if you didn't listen to my spoilers just now.
Well, we did it.
We did it.
This is
well, thank you so much.
299 is in the can.
Oh my God. One more.
We're about to get to 300. We might have something special
Wow.
for you.
We might have something a little special for you. So please stay tuned. Watch your mailboxes and watch your butts, because you may be reading a comic book and you may notice some activity down there.
Yeah, little tinglings that you didn't realize. You're like, what's happening? What are these feelings?
Maybe some fingers poking it out of all of a sudden. Yeah. That's because if you read comics, well, that makes you queer. Bye.
Bye.